Web Squadron. It's Thursday. I've been sorting out a few bits and pieces this morning. Managed to get 3 videos recorded as well. One of them I've put out there already. It was on the back of a question someone asked, and I have my way of solving it. There's many ways you could solve that question, but I put the video out anyway. And then a couple more which they're nothing groundbreaking, but I feel like they're videos that people might value or like, you know, about stuff to do with loop grids and carousels and things like that. There's always, hey Chills to hey doing, there's always what I call the retrospect production. So if you've done a video 2 years ago or a year ago and you feel like you could have done it better, or maybe the settings or the way you'd approach it is slightly different or tweaked, it's a good idea to revisit. It's a bit like thumbnail art as well. Like when I look at the thumbnail art I had coming out 2 years ago, I really do cringe at them. Like they are awful, like really awful. And some of them people are still watching. Hey, Sasha. And when someone is still watching something from 2 years ago, maybe, and there's not many, but, you know, people do watch them, you do cringe a lot. You know, so anyway, so just been touching base on a few things. I am going to be building a new course on how to build an Elementor website. It's going to be very, very detailed. It's going to be going into loads of stuff that I've kind of covered before, but in different videos. So this is going to be one that brings it all together, but in a very methodical way. And I'm hoping to have that course up and running by Monday, September the 18th. So I'm looking at 2.5 weeks-ish. 2.5 weeks. Once Raheem's back at school, next week I will record, edit during next week, in between working on a client job as well. And then the following week, I will then build out the website that's going to basically house everything and all of this. So yeah, loads of work. Hey, Friendly Girl. Hey, Pez. Hey, Paul. Hey, Late Forms. Hope you're all doing okay. Do you know what? I'm going to show you an image. I don't know if I can show this image. Can I show this image? I've just seen this image and I am jealous, and I may now change my room. Let me show you this image, right? I am so jealous of this image. I don't even know how to get this on here. I think I've got to go to max screen capture. Something like that. Application. Which one is it? Application. No, it's not application. It's window capture. And I'm going to show you this image here. There we go. There's the image, right? So let me now just extend the image so you can see it a bit better, like that. No, that's the wrong one. This is what happens when you do stuff. Anyway, here we go, right? So let me shut that down. There we go. Here's the image. And I'm looking at this image. Hey, Frederic, how are you? Go on, ask your question. It's totally okay. You don't even have to say, can I ask a question? You just ask it. Look at this layout. Isn't that nice? Do you know why that layout is really good? Do you know why I'm going crazy over this layout? In fact, let me just shrink it down because it looks a bit better when I do it like that. And let me make my face a little bit bigger so you can see all my raw emotion. Hello. Right. What I like about this layout is you could have your camera here and then you're recording basically from... Hang on, is this even displaying properly? Yes, it is. So you could have your camera here and then you can record that direction. You could have your camera over here and record that direction. You could have your camera here and record another. It's like a multifaceted recording studio. So if you ever want to change the angle because you want to add a different like background every now and again to mix it up a bit, you can have 3 completely different backgrounds kicking off here. And that is like, you know, I mean, I've already got a 49-inch. I've already got a 49-inch. So this is a 49-inch over here. In fact, I'll take a photo. Let me just take a photo. Let me see if I can take a photo of it, just so you can see what the screens look like. My desk is a little messy today, by the way. Yeah, my desk is a little messy, so let me just send this over to my computer, and then I'll show you what my current desk screen looks like in a moment when you see it. I've got a 49-inch, and depending on where you sit, it's not bad. But there is this possibility, potentially, of being able to kind of put your camera over there behind you, kind of thing. But anyway, I saw this and I was like, wow, I quite like that layout. I really like it. I've just got to plan it out now. How would I make it work in my room, in my layout? That's my problem. I'm always wanting to change things. Hey Dave, how you doing? I'm always looking to change things. That's my problem. I'm never content. I'm never happy. That's my problem. When purchasing Elementor Pro for a client, will they need to keep paying? Yes, they will. So it all depends, Frederic. Do you have a maintenance plan with them and they pay you, and then you just give them one of your licenses, and as long as for the time they're with you, you just keep renewing it? Or do you get them to do it? I have taken a completely different approach, whereby now if a client wants Elementor Pro, they have to pay for it. So that if the relationship goes south and we fall apart, or they stop paying, or whatever, I'm not entwined with them. I don't have to now worry about make sure their Elementor license is still up to date or whatever. I don't need to worry about that responsibility. So if you I would get them to pay for it. And I know some people say, yeah, but the client's not going to pay $59 a year. Well, that says something about the client then, really. You know, I've had some clients who go, oh, I'm not paying for that. I go, fine. Do you want me to get you a free solution? I'll get you Elementor free. I'll use a header footer plugin. I'll use another plugin, but then I'm going to have like 4 or 5 extra plugins. And if your website breaks, that's not my fault. No matter what you think, if later on over time there's an update and your website breaks, there's a delivery that's not for me. No, if your website breaks, that is not my fault. Like it or lump it kind of thing, right? And what was the other thing I was going to say? Or I could build your website with GoDaddy. You want a free page builder? You want to use GoDaddy or the 123 page builder or the Bluehost one, and you are then very, very limited as to what you can do with it. Fine, we'll do that for you. But then you're not going to get what you want. In fact, I wouldn't even have taken the project on. If my client refuses to get the right product or the right tool, I'm probably not going to be working with them, because that is an alarm bell for me. Because it means that later on down the line, the client will say, hey, I want WooCommerce subscriptions, and there's loads of free plugins, or you could use some other stuff as well. But they might not want to pay for it. And there are free solutions, don't get me wrong, but you have to weigh them up. Like Paid Membership Pro is really good to a point, and there's other plugins and stuff as well. So the moment a client refuses to pay, that for me is like, yeah, at some point down the line, you're going to want something more, and you're going to expect me to deliver it. And there is an easy solution, but you got to pay for it. It makes my life easy. It makes your life easy. Everyone's happy, and I know what to do with it. But no, you don't want to pay for it. And then I will spend a whole day researching, looking into another solution. What can we do? Will this work? Are there any caveats? Is there any going to be potential issue going forward? Is it a reliable company? How many times have you used a free plugin and the company goes bust? I used to use, what was it? It was called PNG to WebP. It was a free plugin. It was really good. And then the company went bust and the plugin stopped working. The plugin hadn't been updated for ages and it started causing issues on client websites. And that's when I was like, forget this. I'm going to use bulkresizePhotos.com now. But just because a plugin appears and it's free, weigh up the longevity of that plugin. Because if you build a big website for you or a client, and that plugin was pivotal for the design or the functionality, and then that company goes bust, and that was the only tool you found that did what it did, you're going to regret it. That's not to say a premium product couldn't go bust. It can happen. You know, they can still shut down, but if I was a client and I found out that I asked for a website to be designed and the person building it had the option of a premium product or a freebie, and the freebie was not tested loads and it was still very new, fledgling, not very good, and they used that and then that broke the website, I'd be really annoyed with the designer if they kind of sacrificed a premium just to get the free one. So you have to kind of weigh up a little bit of that. Hey, Kate Dimore. Oh, Kate. The storm, Florida. I heard it was not good in terms of floodings. How was it for you? Would you not want to say? So I had a little bit of a think as well last night about the that Elementor master course that I'll be building out. I won't be covering WooCommerce or SEO in that. I will discuss it, I will mention it, but I'm not going to do a rank math integration. The main reason why is because sometimes it's a bit unfair that I keep talking about rank math, and in a way, some people might want to use a different solution. So I will talk about it. I will talk about your keywords. I will talk about where you want to place them. I will talk about things you should do, like getting your keywords into your alt image, your image description, you know, all the stuff you should be doing about your content, all of that as well. But what I won't be doing is a full-blown rank math integration, because I feel like I've done many videos on that, and I'm not going to do WooCommerce because I am finding that a lot of people don't always want the full-blown WooCommerce video, and I've done them already. You can go and watch them. They're out there. They're not changed much. The logic is the same. The trouble with WooCommerce, though, is they can be quite dry and boring. Can I be honest there? WooCommerce videos can be really dry and boring. Would you agree with me? Because you go product, 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 do your prices, do your variation, put your image in. Now let's do the shop product page. Boom, 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 boom. This, the single product, cart, checkout, my account. And then you got to worry about the filtering. And depending on your budget, it's very, very different what you're going to do. You know, some people will go and use JetSmart. Some people will want to use a free system. Some people will use Grid Builder. Some will want to use Themify, shopping filter, product filter. That's it. So I feel like it's so varied, and I've never ever enjoyed doing a WooCommerce video. Can I be really frank and honest with you here? How many of you, when you watch these tutorials, get excited? When you're learning, you want to learn, right? You want to learn it, okay? You want to learn, absolutely. But is it really, how shall I put it? Are they really? Do they really entice you? Do they grab you? If you know you got to build a Woo website for a client, if you're not good at it, you'll want to watch a video to go right. Shipping, payment gateway, settings. That's how you do the attribute and the variation. Okay, here's a plugin I could use. All of that is great, but those kind of tutorials suck my energy dry. They really do. You must have noticed that sometimes when I do WooCommerce videos, done them for Bricks, done loads for Elementor and WordPress. Have you ever noticed I'm very like, oh, okay. Have you ever noticed that? You know, so I'm very like, ugh. I just find them quite dry. Right, so Dave's obviously mentioned 3.16 and all of that. I haven't had a chance to check that out at the moment. But the 3.6, it's going to be... I did a beta video. Was it last week I did it? I think I did it last week. Or the week before. I think I did it last week. And other than the time to first byte, and there's improvements with accessibility, there's not much to get excited about with the 3.16. You know, there's nothing really groundbreaking about it. So of all the updates we've had since the loop grid was announced, and we had the loop grid, 3.16 is the flattest. We're told the time to first byte has improved. Can I be honest? I've tested it. I've not seen much difference. Like, when I say not much, in one website, I created a fake website. I had an image, text, and wording. That was it. Tested it at version 3.15. Then I tested it via version 3.16. Version 3.16 made it worse. The time to first byte went... It was something like... It just made it worse. And I kept testing. And I went, it's not made a difference. But that's just me. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Yeah, so the row and column gap, that's a good feature. The video I put out, I think I put out a video today. You'll see when in the video I've got that feature there with the column and the row gap. So yeah, I mean, it's what 3.616 is missing the flagship, the flag feature, right? It's got what I call sub features. Time to first byte, the row gap thing, the notes in the top bar, and there was something else as well. There's a few other things. They are what I call sub. Hey, Phil, they're what I call sub. The flagship feature isn't there. And I would rather know, what I really want is for them to sort out the taxonomy filter, you know. Keys, case fixed web design, talking about, yeah, do you know what? WooCommerce is they're never exciting. Has anyone here ever worked on a WooCommerce website where they were proper excited? Don't say you were excited because of the income you made and the money. No. I'm talking about a WooCommerce website, and I'm not talking about the homepage and the design, because that, some things like the contact, the home, the about, all of that, that is generic for every website. I'm talking about the actual Woo bits, the shop bits, the product. You know, anyone ever worked on a Woo website or any shop website where they were buzzing? They were wow on cloud nine, people. Anyone ever? Because if you have, I need to see that website because I don't believe you. Raheem is what? Right, okay, hold up. I've just got to call Raheem in here. Raheem, can you come in here a moment? I need you to go in and delete your comments right now. You do not engage in those kind of comments with people.
Okay.
Go, delete them. Do you know how to delete them? Yeah. Right, you go to your comment, you go to the end, you hit the three dots, you click the three dot and you delete. Come here, let me show you how. Do you know how you do it? Yeah. You do know how you do it? Yeah. Right, you go in and you delete those comments, all right? Yeah. So basically, someone made a comment on someone's video that wasn't nice, and Raheem has gone in to defend that other person. I mean, what you have is a bit of a tit for tat. And what I'm saying is, you don't do that. You don't get involved in a storm like that, okay? Because there's nasty people out there, and there's no point getting involved in that kind of shit, basically. Keys, the most exciting thing in WooCommerce, the complication when a client, yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You got the WooCommerce free, you got the payment gateway, majority are free, and then they start to ask for something like cart abandonment, and there's various tools, or a gift coupon thing, or the ability for you to buy something and transfer some money or monetary value to someone else, like a gift thing. You can gift other users stuff, and there are plugins there, but you've got to sort it out. Exactly, William. Exactly. Has to be said, because I could see the emails were popping up with a little back and forth comment, and basically nip it in the bud quick. Phil, don't worry, Phil. I mean, I think you done it, mate. Hey? I could not find the comments. You couldn't find it? Okay, I'll sort it out for you, okay? All right, they've probably been removed or deleted anyway. But Raheem, you don't ever do that, because someone might then start saying something back to you, and then it goes on and on and on. Or the original person that posted the video might not like it, and they might ban you as well. You did nothing wrong, but you should, just because someone says something nasty, don't you go in and say, well, you're that as well. Because that's nothing to do with you, okay? All right? Finish your toast. I've made him toast for lunch. He goes, I go, what do you want for lunch? And he goes, I go, right here, eat some toast then. Yeah, so Phil, yeah, using Shortcut. But Shortcut can't do tangible products, right, Phil? Or can it? Shortcut can't do products, right? Have I missed something? I thought it couldn't still. Bricks does off. Bricks is more flexible, but you know what? I've built a few websites for clients with Bricks, okay? And I have found that when the client wants something different, it takes a little bit longer, especially when the client is also not part of a maintenance plan, so they look after their website. And a few times they've broken things. I mean, they got to pay me, obviously, to fix it. But I find that they need to... I think Bricks is more suited for where you or a designer or a developer or someone is full on looking after it. Client never touches it. Websites where a client could touch, take over, or adapt or hand over to someone else, then Elementor works. And I would say that from a front end point of view, forget the back end, right? Forget the global class system. Forget what you can do. From a front end, it's, you know, for me, it's like Breakdance, Gutenberg, not quickly, Spectra, stuff like that. So a lot of it comes down to like the presentation. Yeah, absolutely, Phil. I mean, I don't think they ever will, though. I don't think Elementor are going to do a full rewrite. I think... What's that noise? I think there's too much risk attached to that. Even though Divi are doing a whole grounds up rebuild, I'm not sure what that means for legacy users. Elementor, I think the risk is massive, and I don't think they've got the manpower to do it. I mean, look at the taxonomy filter. It's not brilliant. It's good, but it's not brilliant. It's nothing like what Dave, me, or anyone else wanted. What we wanted was like that. What we got was that. And when I say that, I do mean a low that. Because it's good for category filtering, but it's not bi-directional. It's not, you can't do tons of styling. You can't switch to a drop down or a radio or a checkbox. So the limitations are very, very limited. Yeah, for Webflow as well, Frederic. Exactly. Well, Webflow is different because the presentation of Webflow is very different to what you're going to do with Bricks, Breakdowns, Elementor, and all of those. You can achieve to a point what Webflow does, but Webflow is like parallax within a parallax, you know. You know the way the animations and stuff go in there. The way it feels like you're being sucked into the website almost. It's very fancy. But I find Webflow websites are very nicheified. When you see a fancy Webflow advert, you know when you see them on like wherever's a Webflow advert, they really are bombarding you with the animation. You get a can flowing like that. You get a cave and you dive in, whatever. That's all good and well. But in reality, and this is the same for motion effects like GSAP and all of that, and I've spoken about this many, many times. If you were to right now lay out all of the websites you've ever built in your life for clients, not yourself, for clients, how many of those websites needed or would have benefited from all of that stuff? And I can probably name one that we did that, yeah, it would have added something different. The rest, no. Simple does it. Simple does it better. You don't need to have, you know, and all this fancy stuff. Because when you get to the mobile versions of them, they're like crazy stuff going on. Paul, I've been using your advice on rank map and got my desktop results to 90, 94, 192. Ooh, 99. Oh, right, okay. But on mobile, it's dropped. It's dropped to 70, 90, 95, 86. Can I specifically target the mobile stats? What are the reasons for the drop in the mode to the mobile, Paul? So what is the drop? What's being highlighted? Is it a cookie consent tool? Is it obviously it's going to be the Google tag. That will, I can tell you now, the Google tag can hit you. Yeah. Take care, Dave. See you soon, mate. So you could add it as a code snippet. Obviously with rank math you don't need to because it's included, but is that what's hitting you at the moment with your page speed? Double check what it is about it. Exactly, Phil. Thank you. I'm glad. I think you summarized it really well there. Everyone is trying to be Apple and you don't need it. Absolutely. So the whole Apple thing, and like I said, yeah, it only works for niche websites. If you are a website where you are guaranteed 10,000 hits every hour and people are going to buy stuff on your website every hour and people are going to come to your website, even if your website went down for a day, like boom, this website is down. The next day, people are still going to come to your website. You can do what you want. Does anyone remember Jim Carrey's website that he put out about, he put it out, if I get this right, I think it was 2004, 2005. He put out a website and it was proper, it was like mind-blowing. You know, it had like waves, like it was like like a theater almost, like with different cutouts, you know, and it had, you know, faces and him, and it was all like really, really fancy animation. Back then we didn't have smartphones and stuff, so you didn't really need to worry about how it looked on a smartphone, but it was proper fancy. But it only worked for him, really, because I remember then other people tried to imitate. So he had like Lemony Snicket, he had other characters like their cutout faces like bobbing along, and it worked because of him, nicheified. But for a bog standard general website, I can't see it working. And whenever I see a Webflow website, They're very... I mean, I've seen some Webflow websites which are standard. But that's when I kind of go, what was the point of Webflow for that, in a way? But that's me just being a bit... Just being me. Gaming tips, Vinu. GPL license should be used. Please answer me. Okay, number one, gaming tips. Never ever tell someone to answer you, because that's rude, okay? No one has to answer you, all right? I owe you nothing and you owe me nothing. But GPL license, how about you please tell me, right, which product you're talking about? So rather than me answering it over what my opinion is over GPL, tell me the product, and then I'll give you my definitive answer, Vinu.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah. So come on, Vinu, which product are we talking about? Yeah. Tell me which one. Paul, mainly total blocking time from 20 to 8. I think I have, but I don't. MP4. Ooh. And that MP4, where's the MP4 coming from, Paul? Is it coming from the cloud or wherever, or is it locally loaded into your media library? Where's it coming from? Bear in mind though, you could there's two things. Number one, where's it coming from? Number two, some of the WP Meteor, or one of the code snippets for reduce unused JavaScript, they may be too brutal and they may be delaying it on the mobile. Also, maybe is it lazy loaded? So there's a few things you got to think about there. Crafty team, hey, how you doing? Yep, how are you doing? WP Rocket, WordPress, exactly, Keys. It's very true though, isn't it? I mean, would you agree with what I'm saying there, though? It's the kind of thing you don't kind of, please answer me. No, I don't have to. WP Rocket. Okay, so what is the current version of WP Rocket? Let's get down to it, okay? Let's get down to it, right? So WP Rocket, what is the latest version of WP Rocket? Does anyone know? Does anyone know what the version of WP Rocket is? What's the latest version? Does anyone know? And what is the latest version of WP Rocket, and what is the GPL version? Can anyone verify that? So Vinu, what is the version you're gonna get? Where is it? Where's the change log? Where is the change log? Let me just do this. WP Rocket change log. Here we go. Right. So here is the WP Rocket change log. Right. There's the latest version. Right. What version are you going to be using, Vinu? It's really, really easy to just kind of go yay or nay. But here's the research you got to do. So what is the version you're going to get? And if you don't know, can't help you with the answer. So what is the version you're going to get? So 3.14 4.2 is the latest version. Now tell me, what is your what's the GPL you're planning to use? You were nearly there, Keys. You were nearly there. Sriram, just want to say thank you for the useful knowledge. By the way, that chiropractor client is super happy. Yeah, but mate, you put in the work, right? I didn't put it out. I didn't liaise with the client. I didn't build it. I just put on my thoughts. And my thoughts aren't always right. My opinion's not always right either. It's about what other people say as well. So the kudos and the karma and the credit is on you, my friend, okay? Right, Paul, it's not used on the mobile. How did you disable it on the mobile? Is it hidden? Is it not visible, or is it just hidden completely? Crafted Team just came back from a long-ass holiday. Sounds like you hurt yourself. So you came back from a long-ass holiday. You missed my lives. Sergio. I know who you are now. I was wondering, Crafty Team. Looks like optimal CSS according to Lighthouse. Sounds like a bit of a lazy load going on then there. It could also be maybe when it's swapping out the images from JPEG to WebP to AVIF as well. Disable optimal and see what you get for a moment. Don't use non-GPL null plugins. You're risking your site. Absolutely, Phil. And developer get exactly. Phil, I completely agree with you, but Vinu has disappeared. So Vinu, I am answering you, Vinu. What is the here we go. Product version 13 but 3. So you are going to use 3.141, right? So that will mean you're going to use a version from July 2023. So let's now explore what this. So that means you won't get any of this. See this bug fix for WooCommerce. See this bit over here, asset cleanup. See this bit here for some enhancements. Bug fix over here, mobile requests. So there's bug fix, all of this, right? So bug fix over there, bug fix over there. So you are going to miss out on those bug fixes. Let me tell you when I would be tempted to use a GPL. If I was testing it out to check, does it have the features? Is it going to do what I want? So we built a website in August. No, let me get this right. August 2021? Or was it August 2022? I think it was August 2022. And it was a lottery website competition. We got hold of a plugin, a GPL version, tested it on a test website, liked it, and then we went and got the full-blown paid website. Because we want it to continue. We want the company to make money. We don't want it to become a dead plugin because they shut shop. So what you got to think about is, who's this for? Is this for you or the client? Why did I do that? Wrong way round. Is this for you or the client? Who's it for, Vinu? By the way, Andrew, hope you're all right, mate. You're making a Grogu balloon design for my daughter's 17-year-old birthday. Oh, she's going to love that. And then she's going to pop it when she hugs it, Andrew. Yeah. So, yeah, and Paul makes a good point, Vinu. Where are you getting this from? Can you email me? Can you email me with a link to where you're getting this from? The email is down here. Why don't you email me? Yeah. So testing is fine, and you do it on a test website. You never, ever, 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 ever do it on a live website. You do it on a test website, a testing zone that you have, a stage, whatever, right? If you like it, then you get it. Because every time there's a vulnerability, don't you want your plugin to adapt? Your version of GPL is before WordPress 6.3.2 or whatever we're on. Do you want to take that risk? So is this for you or is this for a client? Who's it for? Yeah, I mean, you are right, Phil. You are right. You are right as well. I mean, there's a few times for some plugins I've asked them and they've provided like an approved version. It's an older version. It might be 3 versions out of date, but they do supply that. Yeah. So Vinu. By the way, Vinu, you got to quicken up with the answering, okay? You got to quicken up a bit. Is this for you or a client? And where are you getting it from? You can email us. I've got a feeling it's not for you. Absolutely, absolutely, Phil. I mean, there are some plugins out there that are on the WordPress repository and they're good, or they were good for what they did, but they've not been updated for 6 or 7 months. And unless you know the developer updates every 3 or 4 months, when you look at the changelog, the dates, but it's still okay because they're just minor things, I always take a step back. And if I see a plugin that used to have regular updates and then all of a sudden it's not been updated for a year, and you can see that the responses, you know, when you go to the reviews and the support bit in the WordPress repository, and you can see that no one is answering loads and loads of questions, I back off. I completely back off, because I owe the client a duty of care. It's not just about the money and the income. I owe them a duty of care, right? So, yeah. Right, so Paul Burgess, the Optimal obviously takes your images, right, processes them and returns them. So what you now got to do is reactivate Optimal to get your images back. You might want to contact the Optimal dev team. Contact them and just say, look, my website was okay. The minute I start using what you've given me, and the whole point of it was to do, you know, page speed and all of that and scores, it's now affected my website. What would you recommend? Be nice, though. Be nice about it. Yeah, absolutely. WordPress repository fee abandonment is quite big, actually. Yeah, quite big. Yeah, I mean, one day, Phil, one day I might go back to building a website with code. I've just got to check. I heard a noise out there. I've just got to check something. No, it's all right. One day I will, but not for a very, very, very long time at the moment. Right, so Vinu, you've now sent me the link to where you're getting it from. So this is where Vinu is getting his GPL from. By the way, I want to make clear, I am not advocating this website. I don't know who they are. So I don't know what's that, rupees? I don't know what is that? What is that in dollars? They haven't got a conversion tool on here anyway. It's a .com, but it doesn't have, that's the currency. It's a .com, but anyway, last updated on the 17th of July, which is, yeah, that is right, actually. July the 4th, actually. But anyway, GPL, you download as a premium. Doesn't really tell you how often they would update. I'll just third purpose. You agree to the GPL license terms. What is that in dollars? What is that? Hey, WP Arabic. Hey, Mark Ware. So this, by the way, this is something that Vinu, Gaming Tips Vinu, is saying. So 249 rupees. What's that in dollars? What is that in dollars? Let's go with rupees, dollars. Hey, Raheem, you all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it here then. So we'll go with rupees is 249. So it's $3. $3. Okay. Which is a bargain, but is this for you or is this for a client, Vinu? Is this for you or is this for a client? Hey, Koshik, how you doing? You know, I mean, number one, right? How do you know that the website you're using is trustworthy and they're not going to sell you details? Right? That's number one. Number two, how can you be sure there's no malware? Number three, you are 4 or 5 versions out of date. So you're going all the bug fixes. You could use it and then have a bug. Like there's a glitch, there's a problem. And you say to the developers, here's the other thing. You could go to the developers, the actual WP Rocket, and they're going to go, what's your license? What are you going to say then? And then they're going to find out where you got it from. Maybe, maybe not. So is it really worth it? So is this for you or is this for a client? WP Vivid is really good, WP Arabic. They've improved it so that you can now do the migration, which I believe you could not. Yeah, you couldn't do that before. You had to pay to do it properly. You could do a backup, the migration bit. Or was it the staging? I think it was the staging. So you create a staging website. But if you then wanted to overwrite the live website with the staging, you had to go with WP Vivid Pro. So it's for your website, Vinu. Okay, right. Have you considered other stuff? So let me just share a video with you, okay? So this is for WP Vivid and anybody else that wants to watch. Let me just get it for you. Have you Whoa, that came out a bit loud. Let me show you with you this video here. Right, so have you shared using other features as well? Okay, because you could buy it, find a problem, their support team ain't gonna support you. So what did you buy? You're gonna be out of date. You could be opening up your website to vulnerabilities. You don't know what's loaded, and then you might pay $3, and then next year you lose $1 million rupees. A lot of these, like, I mean, I don't like trusting companies like that do this, because like they get a free license from somewhere and they're selling it on, they're profiting, whereas the real company that made that aren't profiting whatsoever. You know, it's not like eBay. I bought it and now I don't want it and I'm going to sell it on, because the full money went to the original company, hopefully, from a third party or however it was. But in this scenario, you know, I just don't, you know, exactly WP Arabic. The staging to transfer over is the premium bit. Phil says we don't allow null code on our hosting, and if it's detected, they get kicked off. Normally, yeah, I mean, you got to weigh it up, right? Sorry, what's that? Got messages coming through on my phone. Hold on, got messages. No, nothing to worry about. And I've had a few emails. Just got to double check. There's nothing relating to huh? What's this? 2 new messages. Who are they? I don't know who they are. Don't know who you are. I don't know who. Oh yeah, I bought something for my son yesterday. Got to pay him. Well, he actually, my Raheem actually owes me $2.99, and I'm gonna take it out of his money when he's not looking, or something like that. The GPL plug has a security vulnerability, and that's back because there isn't a patch. Exactly. You know, so I would say, Vinu, you obviously want WP Rocket because you've got some performance issues with your website. Have you considered looking at the video I've just sent you, which I know people who were using WP Rocket, they switched off WP Rocket and they started using my tips and they got better scores. However, if you've not done the legwork for custom load fonts, WebP images, thinking about the content of your website, don't have too many videos or carousels and sliders all over the place, you know, JavaScript, CSS, and loads of other stuff, you should be okay. If, however, you've just built the website and went, oh man, I'm getting 10%, I'll shove WP Rocket on, I'll put Perf Matters on and pray for the best, even they will not get your website high. Do you know how many WP Rocket websites I've worked on where the client's done the website, they put WP Rocket on, but they're still getting 15%? And they're like, why? And I'm like, with my tips, I can get you to 70. I can't get you any higher because the rest of your website build and what you've got on the page is tragic. If it's tragic, there's only so much we can do to help you out. What do I think about Lightspeed cache, the caching free version? Lightspeed is fine. The free version is fine. We've used it on many websites, not had issues. Sergio, is it worth the risking for a few bucks if it's a customer? Yeah, exactly what Crafty Team says. It's not worth it. Enhancing e-learning experience with AI. I'd like to create a pop-up layer, like a chatbot, that will hover over the page. Have you tried FreeCX? Have you tried FreeCX? We did a video on that, so I'm just going to put it in here. Go do a search for that video. E-enhancing, so it's called 3CX. Go to our channel, YouTube channel, do a search for FreeCX. There's a video there. You can use it for free. That might give you what you want. 10 booster is not good. I can tell you now, 10 web booster is not good. It ain't that good. It will work for a bit and then it won't work more than that. It ain't that good. I can tell you now, because we've used it on a couple of people's website and I totally took it off. And I made them rebuild some of their website page because they didn't want to pay us to do it. Then I put in my page speed boosting tips and tricks and got them up there. Yeah. So, no, 10 web booster. And a lot of people that have said 10 web booster is, oh, look at this. Go and look at what they've built and then look at the tool. All right. No way. Yeah, but gaming tips, Vinu. Here, let me give you everyone a big lesson here, right? It's really easy to say, but I'm only getting 70, like Vinu has. But you haven't told us why. So you can't rely on a plugin or a tool. Yes, I tell you to use FastPress and WP Meteor. Yes, I tell you to use code snippets. But on top of that, have you got WebP images? Have you got custom loaded fonts? Are you ensuring the web font is loaded? Are you ensuring your icons aren't being fetched and you know fonts are being fetched? Have you made sure you've not got any heavy content, loads of DOM, loads of rendering on the page, sliders, videos that are fetching from YouTube? So score 70, my question is why? It's a bit like someone saying, I'm going to die next week. And I'm like, why? Okay, that's a pretty tragic story. But why? You know, my car doesn't work. Why? You know, I bought a new car. It doesn't work. That doesn't mean every car out there is bad. Environmentally, that's a different argument. Hey, Abdullah, how you doing? Crafty team, Sergio. If you want cool performance, get your head a bit dirty and use transients to cache the pages or fragments with a bit of code. I got, wow. Takes time, that, Sergio, my friend. Takes time. But yeah, you're right. Exactly. Do you know what, Phil? I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I use caching, right, to make sure that when you go to the live website, we're not still latched onto an old state. You know, the way the web page looks. You might need to purge your server cache or your site cache. That regenerate the CSS. That is what I use the caching for. I don't use it to boost the score. Right? The boosting is all done with the snippets and the way the website and the content looks. The caching is to make sure, oh, I went to the live website. It doesn't look like it's changed. Oh, hold on. Let me clear the cache. That is all that's for, not to boost it. And I do think that some of the wording we get with some of these plugins like Lightspeed and all of that, they're good for that. They're not good for, even though they say aggregate the CSS or minify, be very careful of how much you aggregate. Minifying is okay. Aggregating CSS and JS, JavaScript, can be problematic for your website. If you've got stuff going on, aggregating JavaScript can break things. You know, animations might not work. You click a button, it doesn't really go. Your toggle menu for your header, you click it and it's not clicking. You probably got some aggregation going on. Hey, Nigel, Shinya Carter, how you doing? Did you test Super PBW Premium for creating Andrew Web? No, I don't. No, I don't bother with apps. I'm one of these very simple people where it's like, you got a website, it's mobile responsive, screw the app. If they want to create an app, I then go, okay, here's some people you might want to go and work with. Here's a app maker or whatever. That's not my niche. That's not my area. I stay away from that because I don't want to get caught up in Apple Store, Android. I don't want to get caught up in all of that. That's another industry in itself and another minefield of a headache. Between Elementor and Slider Revolutionary or Revolution Slider, what would you choose? I would just go with Elementor. Why? Number one, why would I want to install another plugin? Number two, what is the Revolution Slider going to do for me? Number three, even if it does something fancy, do I really need it? Like, how long is anyone going to be on that slider? You know, you get Revolution Slider for one slider on your web page, or maybe on another page. Is it worth it? Do you get what I mean about that? So is it something that is, wow, groundbreaking? It makes people stay on the website, or if all it does is just give you images or content and buttons and things slide in and all of that, what's the benefit of it? You're right.
Yep.
What's the benefit of it, right? So I would say, yeah, I mean, it's the animations, Mike, right? And it has some fancy stuff, but how many sliders are there going to be on your website? How long do you expect someone to sit there staring at it? Would you expect them to move on? So if you expect them to move on and they can get the content anyway, what's the benefit? I weigh it up on impact, usability, user experience. How does it look on a mobile? Still okay? Too much? Too little? So I would say, I know it sounds like I'm being very contentious about all of that, but that's how I look at it. You know, I am not going to install a plugin for something which is like, well, it's just a slider, you know? Yeah. I mean, if the client likes it and they want it and they accept there's going to be a hit on the page speed performance, then fine. But I'm not going to go out and recommend it to a client. I will get them to just use the standard unless they want it. And the only way the client's going to want it is if they say they want it, or they know about it, or they've seen it, or they're very particular. But nearly all of my clients, they want a slider. They don't care how it works. They just want a slider. They just want a slider. They're not caring for the stuff coming in. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Jeffrey. Exactly. You know, if it's just one thing and the client's going to scroll down and never see it again, it's an overhead. It's what I call a gimmick overhead with, in my opinion, zero benefit. I don't think it's going to help you convert, you know. Enhancing e-learning has checked out 3CX. That was an example. I just wanted a way to create the pop-up layer. I can put my own code. Have you Googled it? So my big tip to you is, have you Googled it? Nigel has sent over his website for a site review. So let's get it on screen. Okay. So Nigel, we're going to do a review of your website. Tell me when you're ready, Nigel, and we will do this. And I'll be nice. Hey, have you got the hat back on, Jeffrey? Have you got the hat back on? And you know what, Jeffrey? I noticed your avatar change yesterday. It's very good. It's very good because it stands out. Here's how I do the wow factor, Mike. For me, the wow factor is the headline, the impact statement. You know, Unreal architecture. Unreal architecture. What does that mean? Flipping heck. Impact. Big words. You know, right. Hey, Lorenz. Okay, right. We're now going to do a website review for Nigel Chinyakata. No, I got his name wrong. Yeah, Chinyakata. Right. Let me just refresh the page. So, When the page refreshes, yep, there's no animation coming in. Fine. That logo is a bit small. I can hardly read it. Not a showstopper because I can see the word here, Deborah Sibanda. But Deborah Sibanda photography here is a little bit small. If you look at this logo, right? Let's just look at this logo, right? Look at this logo over here. You've got more estate to make that bigger. If you wanted to, you could increase that by 50%, I reckon, and it would still fit. But anyway, weddings, graduation, that black on that brown or gold brown or autumn brown does not work very doesn't work well from a web accessibility point of view, right? So I think I don't think that's a good color. I would leave it as white. When you hover, leave it as white. Can I just quickly break away for a moment just to say, you don't have to have a hover color change all the time. You don't have to do that sometimes. I know from accessibility it's a good thing, but if you're going to do it, watch the accessible, because that is not accessible. You're gonna get cross. Yep. The thing is though, Nigel, I'm not going to be nice. There's no nice. When we do reviews, Jeffrey will back me up on this. There's no nice. There's honesty. And sometimes you have to not be nice to be honest. The font on here as well, the words are too close. I mean, look, even if I zoom in, no, I can't do it. The letters are too close. Space the letters out a tiny bit, because like that portrait looks like portrayal with a dot. I know it says portrait, but you could misread that. Anyway, Deborah Sibanda, Seattle-based photographer. So here's the problem, number one. There's your image. There's your power image. I can't see past her her neckline or her chest there and his tie. There's the bottom, right? Let me get rid of my like box at the bottom there. Yeah, look at the bottom. Look there. You've cut off the image. This image, if you're going to make this brown bar be a top bar, which is gold autumn brown, right? You make it a top bar. It does not need to be that tall either. Your header should only be about, let me get this right, about 40 pixels in height. Okay. 40 pixels in height. This image needs to be pushed up, right? You need to push it up. You could then add in a bit of an overlay with Deborah Sibanda. In fact, your Deborah Sibanda should be over here, not over them. Over here, you could have a 1/3 overlay, right? Deborah Sibanda. Yeah. Who cares, right? Let me just jump back out again. Who cares about your name? If you are famous and you take photographs at Oscar Academy Awards and you are wanted around the world and fashion and all of that, no one gives two shits about the name, right? Deborah Sibanda. Who cares? But if you have the image, so you got your bar, I mean, look, that is too big of a header. That's massive. Shrink it down to 40 pixel, right? Get the image up. Overlay for 1/3 on the left-hand side. Deborah Sibanda, Seattle-based photographer, right? You do that. Sorry, I just realized you can't see the screen. So you get the image up. Over here, 1/3 overlay. Deborah Sibanda, and then Seattle-based. But you only have it over here. 1/3, okay? 1/3. Let me just check some of the comments here so you can follow. Oh, do you want, yeah, okay. Let's just post it in. Here we go. Boom. Right. Yeah, underline as well. You could use underline. Here's the other problem as well. Now, see, the images are full width. Your images are full width, but you've gone for a boxed width over here. It feels detached. It doesn't feel connected. I would also get rid of the spacing here. Spacing like this only really works on a white screen, in my opinion, or a black screen. When you have a color, it bleeds in between the image. And I would get it to be... In fact, can I say something? Don't use this image. Swap it for this image or this one, right? This image here, or in fact, this one is a little bit better than that, because she's like, oh God, we better walk. Oh, come on now. He's like, watch your step, gonna slip on myself. Oh, gonna hit the floor, right? And there's a bit of a blurriness to the photos as well. It looks like it's a painted backdrop, you know, Lucasfilm, you know, laser rendering. But I would go for this image here. That image there feels better. There's something, look at the way, smiling, shocked. It's real. It feels, right? It's hitting me. I like that image better. These days, life is so busy, and in the busyness of life, in fact, I would even say this is in the wrong order. You have your widescreen image at the top. You then come down to this bit, and then this is your section 3, right? So you got to swap the order around. Life is so busy, and in the wording, work on the wording. You know, life is so busy, and in the busyness of life. Nope. Sounds like you're trying to say the same thing twice in the same sentence. Life is so busy, and in the busyness, no. Change it to be don't miss out. Here you go. Keep it simple. Hey, Jason, keep it simple. Don't miss out on precious moments, right? Don't miss out on precious moments. 6 words. You don't need all of that, okay? You keep it simple. Yeah, okay. Think about it. Again, ooh, this does not work, right? This does not work, what you've done here, right? Look, her head is chopped off, right? I have to increase the website massively, right? But look, her head is chopped off. Does not work at all, yeah? Like, I can't even proper see this person down here or the baby there. The people here. So, no. Get rid of that. That's a lot of words. Better off to have 2 containers, wording on the left and an image over here on the right. Break it up a bit. That's too many, you know, just like that. Selected work. No, I wouldn't. No, too big. That's too big. I would shrink that down massively. You don't even have to say selected work. You would just say a glimpse into timeless memories, maybe. A glimpse, or just get rid of that. Just have selected work, but make selected work the size of that, because you're going to use the word memories at the top over here, where you say don't miss out on precious moments, memories, kind of already. If you're going to show these images here, get rid of these images. And I think you got to, you know, get rid of that because you've already got that. Don't go for the masonry, go for the justified, because you're going to get gaps and it looks really unprofessional, right? It looks really, really unprofessional. You know, I agree with what Mohammed is saying. This background really doesn't work. Go for white. Go for a white background. It's a photographer staging it. You might need to do a gradient with this and a white, or this and a gold, something, because it's very blur. It's a bit, doesn't look good. Yeah, okay. My approach, I don't know what you're going to do there. You see what I mean about breaking things up? Words, call to action. In fact, where was your call to action at the top? There was no call to action. The first call to action is here. Big mistake. Get it up. Container, text, image. It works, okay? It works. Mateo, how are you doing? What good plugin would you recommend to make a website with calendar? Use Calendly or the events calendar, or Webness, Modern Events, Booknetic, Amelia. Have you done a Google search? FAQ. Again, look, the wording is a bit too close. Your letters, space your letters out a bit. It's a bit too close. This looks clearer and bigger than this. So make this bigger. Yeah. Make it bigger. Yeah. Nigel, that's all I'm going to say, mate. That's all I'm going to say. I'm jumping out now, Nigel. There we go. Did that help, Nigel? I don't know if that helped you or not. I've just realized, have I messed up my screen? No, my screen is okay. Let me put the like bit back on again. There we go. Yeah, so Nigel, did that help? I know you wanted me to be kind, but I had to be a little bit brutally honest there in that the go for a white background. You can still have the brown text for the header. You can still do that. There's stuff you can do. But I think you've got to go back to the client. There's a bit of repetition. There's very long-winded words. Words, images, think about that. You know, word, image, word. I know it's like a bit boring, but it might work for you. And when you have word and image, you don't have to have just one image, right? You don't have to have just one image. You could do something like this. Let me show you. You don't have to have just one image. You could do, whoa, where are we? Oh, hold on. Background image. I've just switched off the wrong screen. Wait a minute. Which one is it? Is it that one? Hold on, I've lost my image. There we go. You could have like, you know, you could display images in a funkier way or whatever, okay? Like something like that. You know, so you can display them with a bit of style so they look different. Or you could have like a masonry effect of images, but go for justified, okay? Justified and ancient. Because justified, masonry can look really bad when it starts to do this staggered effect. You're a photographer. You want to demonstrate articulation, setting, click. You want to show that you can think about layout. If I go to a photographer website and their layout is disjointed, does that instill confidence in me to use them? And you might say, yeah, but people love using her. Yeah, but that's word of mouth. Brand new customer comes along. Ooh, disjointed. I'm getting out of here. So, you know, little tips like that can make a big difference. Don't forget to smash the like button. I don't care what muscle you use. You can use your finger, your legs, any muscle you want. Smash that like button. Right, I have now been live for 1 hour and 13 minutes. I'm going to jump back onto my treadmill while I do some editing of some videos. You know me, Jeffrey. Got to get those videos out there. Yeah. So I'll be jumping off in 2 minutes' time, everybody. And I think some of the suggestions a lot of people have made are absolutely valid. Like Mohammed goes with light blue. I think a gradient of blue and white works really, really well. You just got to now check the branding of your client and what they want. And too many people go for black and gold, right? Or yellow and gold or brown and gold. There's a lot of websites out there. The black and gold is so overdone. No, it might work as a business card, but not as a website. I see them and they make me go, ugh. It's that autumn feeling like, oh, all the plants are gone, ugh. Right? So have a think about that. You know, and TJ says different font. You're absolutely right. The styling of that font is not great. If you're going to make a quote and then you're going to sign it off with her name, you can use a fancy font. Okay? So I'm going to create a tutorial, and for the website, I'm going to be using the railway font. Okay? But for the but at some point on the website, I will be showing this. That does not mean I use that font throughout the website, only where I'm going to put in a quote, a made-up quote this person says, because it's a tutorial website. And then underneath, I'm just going to put Jane Sinclair as a fake name, but it looks like a signature. That's where fancy fontings and curves and cursor, all that curly stuff works well. For headers, for menus, keep it simple, right? Go look at a website that's got a curly font and then look at another similar website where it is good fonts. Sans serif, like Paul says. Yeah. It's clear. It's easy to read. Web accessibility. Right, everyone, I'm going to shoot off now. I won't be live again until... I might not be live again until Wednesday. Mainly because I've got tons of recordings I want to do next week. Big recordings. And sometimes when you do a record, there's been times when I've been recording and I stop, have a break, do a live chat, then I have to get back in the zone. And I feel like I lose an hour and a half or 2 hours. And believe me, when you're recording, 1 to 2 hours is a big deal. All right, everyone, I'm going to shoot off now. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Look after yourself. Stay safe. And don't forget the Facebook Web Squadron group. We are there. We are waiting. Come and find us. And Raheem's popped over to say goodbye too. Have you, Raheem?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone.